Hey listeners, we're doing something a little different tonight. We are doing our very first podcast redo.
We needed this redo.
Yeah, we did. So tonight we have Lindsey Gerhard here again.
We're really happy to have you back on the show because our first time with you was somewhat of a disaster and there was a storm and we couldn't hear anything and a lot of the footage had to be just thrown out because of the storm, and so it's great to have you back on the podcast.
So here we go for the redo.
Welcome to If This Bar Could Talk, a podcast about bartenders and the stories they have to tell, as well as the storied history of cocktails, spirits, and bars. I'm Blair Beavers, and here's your host, Leanne Sims.
Lindsey, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, we needed to do this because the last one was a disaster, as we said in the intro. But the good news is Citizens Trust is back open.
Back open and ready for people to come on through.
Awesome.
And as beautiful as ever.
Thank you so much. 2 days a week, Friday and Saturday. Reservations highly recommended, but walk-ins are always welcome. You can get the rezo through our Instagram or just through Veritas. It'll give you the option for Citizens Trust Cocktail Lounge.
Now, is Veritas open now also?
Yes.
Okay.
They're doing a Mexican Supper Club theme.
Ooh.
So they're still doing in their normal tasting menu format, but we've actually just upped it. It's all Mexican themed. We actually had little Mexican grandmas come in, teach the kitchen how to make, because they're just like, we don't need to be white people learning it on our own. Learn it from the real source. So they came in, taught everyone how to make our own tortillas using masa and, you know, giving the like true full experience. So,
oh, wow. That's amazing.
In real Veritas fashion then.
Yeah, absolutely. In the most
great.
Veritas fashion, you could have it.
And I read where, you know, when you think Mexican, you don't necessarily think wine paired with it, but I saw that they are doing that.
Yeah. And we actually also just had Ben Grice join our team.
Nice.
So he worked with me at Curio. He took over Commune as well. Mm-hmm. He's been a huge influence in the community. And he actually just took over their bar program. So he's doing cocktail pairings as well.
Oh, very cool.
So he's downstairs.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So how do we get a reservation at Veritas? The same way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the same link will take you to either Citizens Trust or the Mexican Supper Club experience, or they're also doing to-go Wednesday and Thursday as well. So they're doing taco kits at home.
Are they doing to-go cocktails?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So Ben will switch it up every week or so, and they also are still doing their wine delivery.
Okay, cool.
So
I highly recommend that. They have all really
We
nice
did that a few
list.
times already.
yeah,
It's great.
and it's very well priced as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Citizens Trust of all the bars in town is like made for social distancing because it's so huge.
Yeah.
But what precautions did you have to take, and what was the planning like before you opened or reopened?
You know, just as everyone else, because we were able to sit back and have that time, we watched what other places were doing, not just in Columbus. We were watching what other cities were doing, things we liked, things we didn't like, things we saw working. So again, in very Citizens Trust and Veritas fashion, we took it to another level. We do temp checks when you come in. We have you sign an affidavit as well, which is saying like you haven't experienced anything, but we take your email. So with that being said, you're not finding out through social media. You're our first direct contact if anyone on our staff or anyone else has gotten it, so we can let everyone know.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So contact tracing.
It's our form of contact tracing, and with it still maintaining a private, you're not just throwing your information out into the universe. We just keep you on that mailing list.
Wow.
So, and then we also got one of those giant fogger machines. I don't know if you've seen those, the big disinfectant ones. And of course, every table has their own hand sanitizer, and we're trying to keep it as low contact as possible. And, you know, Citizens is also a huge space. Mm-hmm. Like
the tables aren't 6 feet apart. They're more like about 30 feet apart.
Yeah. And they're also 10 plus people. We're keeping it to 8 people per person. And really almost everyone has their own little cubicle to go off of. So it's been really nice in that aspect. I mean, we're not letting people touch our bourbon in our big back area in our vault, but people can still come back. They can still look. Just ask us questions. That's all.
Yeah.
And, just keep your mask on. That's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So for listeners, if you haven't been to Citizens Trust, first of all, definitely get there. But it's a beautiful old place. It was built, it was a bank, of course, and it was built in 1917. And when they rehabbed it, they kept a lot of the original, the ceilings are original, the bank, they kept some of the bank vaults, and it's just a really,
and
really
the
cool
columns are
space.
restored.
Yeah,
Look
it's just
awesome.
It's an amazing space. So how's it going though?
It's been very interesting. I think I've talked to so many of my people who are also running their own bars right now, and it's like a whole new take on everything. Coming up with QR codes, remembering to do sanitation at every table. Like, hand sanitizers have to be out, QR codes. I always say that I always feel like the fun police anyways, but now I'm like the extra fun police. I'm like, put your mask on, please. And like yelling it across the bar. Wearing a mask while working has been interesting because if you don't know me, I have bangs. So really the only thing you can see are my eyes. And they're not the most expressive. So I feel like I just always look like I have a dead face. So that's been interesting. Reminding our staff to speak up, speak clear. You're by the first weekend, and we were only open for 2 days right now. By Sunday, my voice was just gone, shot.
I never even thought of that.
I didn't either.
Bad side effect.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like I already have a very like nasally voice anyways. So I was with my friends the next day, and they were just like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I don't know, maybe. I feel fine." But so it's been a lot of those things. A couple of positives though that I am really enjoying. I really enjoy switching up a menu. I do all of our cocktails at the bar, so I wanted to start with 12, and then we kind of pushed the opening pretty quick. It was supposed to be 2 weeks. We did it in 1. I've done faster, weirder things in my life, so I'm not worried. But I was like, okay, we'll start with 8. And by the next week, I was like, guys, I think I'm going to change the menu. They're like, can you let it go for like 6 days, 6 shifts? And so then I was like, ooh, it's a QR code though. I can just keep adding things. I can do whatever I want. You can do a quick manipulation and it's totally fine. So that's fun. It's weird doing reservations upstairs. We've never done it. And I think especially as a cocktail bar, that's odd. But you kind of get to place people, make sure like, oh, these people definitely want to sit at the bar. These people definitely want to be in their own lounged area. These people feel safer in this area.
There was a speakeasy that we went to in Chicago. The Violet Hour. Yeah. And they took reservations. Yeah. So it's not like it's unheard of, but
in Columbus, it's different.
Very different.
Yeah. And I mean, Violet Hour is beautiful.
Yeah.
Such an experience. You really feel like when you walk in, you're transformed into a different place.
Absolutely.
And I feel like you can do that in Chicago almost anywhere. Like 3 Dots and a Dash will forever be one of my favorite bars on the planet.
That too. And the projection on the ground outside.
Yes. They do.
Brilliant.
It's just amazing. And their hospitality is phenomenal. But
Columbus bars are better.
Bars are better.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I do think that Citizens Trust is the place for that. I mean, I think it could continue to evolve.
Yeah. We've had a lot of people.
And then be smart about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of people come in and say it's their first time in a bar. They're like, you know what? This is the first place we felt safe going to. And, for me, I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But also, how can we make people feel more safe,
right,
without almost impeding on their enjoyment of a time,
right?
But I mean, I feel like that's the name of the game in hospitality, anyways.
Yeah,
how to make people more comfortable, more happy, while always looking out for their safety at the same time.
Yeah,
so just one more precaution, but.
Well, let's talk about your menu because we were there the other night and I had a Rhinestone Cowboy, which was amazing. But I've been singing that damn song in my head ever since. And now I'm dating myself,
Lindsey.
aren't I?
So I actually hate naming my own cocktails. It's forever been the one thing I'm like, nope, I will make you as many as you want. I will write the descriptions. I will do everything. Dear God, don't make me name them. So I usually phone a friend. I call my friend Jared, who is the market manager for Ohio for Bacardi. I'm like, hey, it's cocktail naming time. He's like, oh, this is fun. And I was like, no, just here's my menu. Write it. Name it. I don't care what it is. And then he always gives me these backstory of like why it makes sense and why. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care if it makes sense. Cocktail wise, though, this was actually a fun menu because I got to do a light collaboration and bounce some ideas off of Annie Williams Pierce, who owns Lawbird. Mm-hmm. She's my best friend. And I was like, man, I have all these like crazy ideas in my head. And we do this back and forth anyways. But she was like, how about I just come in? I was like, oh my God, yeah, definitely. Sit at my bar, listen to me just ramble off 1,000 things. And I was like, this is how I always started with her. Hear me out. And she's like, ooh, this is a weird one. I'm like, yeah, hear me out. What if? And I was like, what if we do a house-made horchata, but we thin it out and we make it like this and we let it sit for 24 hours. And then she was like, well, it only sits for 8. And I was like, yeah, we're going to let it sit for 24 hours. Then we're going to put it through a microcon. Then we're going to add Angel's Envy, horchata, do some dry curacao, tequila, some Mexican cinnamon, coconut flakes. She was like, yep.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was like, I don't know how you're going to. She's like, yeah, do it.
No, that combination of both the Angel's Envy and the Reposado was spectacular. And the little bit of the garnish with the toasted coconut.
I don't think it was toasted. I think it was shaved.
It was
and
just
it
shaved
was
lightly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it had cinnamon right on top.
Yeah.
Which cinnamon and tequila are a match made in heaven, first of all. But when I have to say, when I was looking through the menu, I was like, that is a weird combination. I have to try it. And I was really skeptical, but it was so good. And your choice of ice was so perfect too. Like it was just perfect. It was tiki-ish. And I thought maybe it would get too watered down, but it didn't. Like it held its flavor till I got to the very bottom of the drink.
I love to hear that because there are some things that you're like, ooh, this is a real shot in the dark, gang. I don't know how it's going to go. And it's honestly been one that, I've been surprised that as many people have been ordering it, but they're loving it. And that makes me happy all over.
It's amazing.
I like when people get to try things that I absolutely know they would be like, tequila and whiskey? What are you doing? And then they see the presentation. They're like, what am I drinking?
Yeah.
And
Why
then,
haven't I tried this before?
right. And then they're like, wait, no. All right, checks out. I'm in. So
how did you think of that? What inspired you?
So we were lightly basing. Joshua downstairs, the owner, was like, yeah, we're going to do a Mexican menu. I was like, all right, that sounds fun. I'll mess with that a little bit. And this is going to sound crazy, but initially, and I will add it, but I wanted to do a elote cocktail broken down.
I don't know what that is.
Elote is a Mexican corn, like, side dish, basically, where it's roasted corn, mayo, cojita cheese, paprika, a little bit of salt, and, like, parsley, or cilantro, I'm sorry. And so it has this like crazy, like rich mouthfeel, but it's delicious. So I was like, I'm going to make that into a cocktail. And that was another like, Annie, hear me out. She was like, all right. And so I like had all these things written down, and I always base everything generally first and foremost off the flavor Bible. So I was going through random Mexican things, and I was like, all right, elote would be fine. I was like, what about something with horchata? I was like, I don't really want to do anything creamy when it's like 95 degrees out. And then I was like, but what if I do want to do something creamy? And I was like, you know what? Let's just try it. If it doesn't work, who cares? The best thing about making a lot of Mexican dishes is initially they can be incredibly cheap. So I'm not necessarily worried about investing a ton of time, a ton of money, and being like, wow, that was a complete waste. So I made an horchata, and then I was like, I'm going to twist it. I'm going to put a weird spin on it, which usually it does kind of have like a thick, milky, rice-based texture, and it's a little bit like chalky a little bit. I was like, I'm going to thin it out because I don't want like gritty cocktails. I don't like them normally. And so that's how that one came. And I was like, I'll put the corn one on the back burner because that one was going to take and it has a lot more time.
I like that idea, though.
Yeah, so that's my next one. It's going to be a mezcal and probably split with a little bit of rum to add that sweetness. And then I'll take the sweet corn, and you can basically make like a whipped, like a sweet corn cream almost from it. So I'm going to do it like sour style, and then finish it with paprika dust and maybe like a little bit of a cilantro syrup.
Ooh, that sounds exciting.
So-
Can't wait to try that.
We'll see. Yeah, that one's still up here somewhere. We're
Awesome.
give me
You
like
can
a
experiment on it.
yeah, exactly. Give me like a week, and my staff will be like, okay, you can do. All right, fine.
So have you had issues with patrons not wanting to wear their mask? We were at a restaurant in Johnstown recently, and it seemed like some people don't think they should have to do that.
I actually, on Saturday night, I had 2 ladies come in around like 9:30, 9:45, and we stopped having people walk in around 9:30 just because that 10 p.m. rule, it scares me.
Yeah.
I would always rather be safe than sorry.
Sure.
You know, I know we're doing everything right, but I want to make sure that there's no way for anyone to come back on us. And that's hard enough for my staff because we don't have any clocks in there. So at that point, they have to consistently check their phones or check our iPad
Right.
and then there's, again, me, the fun police, being like, it's 9:52. Whatever you got, do it, or you got nothing. So these ladies walked in, and they walked up to us, and they were holding their masks, but they like took them off once they got to our front gate. And they walked up to the bar, and I was like, hey ladies, excuse me, if you don't mind, just put your mask on while you're standing. And she goes, who are you? And I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
ooh, well, this is gonna be fun because I'm already not going to serve you. And she was like, so she like held it like to her cheek, and I was like, no, just like in front of your face, you know, like how you were doing it out there. And she just like gave me the worst look. And then one of my servers like explained the whole thing, and she goes, well, I understand you're not doing walk-ins anymore. And I was like, you are just all around not a fun person. I don't know. But we have had a couple guests, like one of them was a friend of a friend, and he was like, oh, I know it's $1,000 if I don't have my mask on. I'll just give you $1,000. And I was like, you probably won't. And also, just put it on, man.
Right.
It's not that hard.
Let's follow the rules.
Right. Or sit down. Like,
Don't
he was
be
just
rude.
standing in his group, and I was like, or just sit.
Right.
Pick
It's
a lane.
easy.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do, but just like put something on your face like you have to do everywhere else.
It's disrespectful not to wear your mask,
Absolutely.
people.
And it's
not
not
about
hard.
you. No.
It's not hard.
It's really not. It doesn't hurt you.
And you don't have to do it all night long like the
Right.
staff does.
And you know, it's the one place right now where you don't have to wear it all the time.
Right.
So just be happy that there is a place you don't have to wear it, but wear it when you stand up. It's
Yeah.
not hard. Or just stay seated. I don't know.
right. Yeah.
Wild times. Fun police.
Well, I think that calls for a cocktail. What do you think?
I think we're
Should we
ready.
take a break and
Yeah.
make a cocktail?
Absolutely.
What are you going to make for us?
Let's do some Boulevardiers. I feel like that sounds like
Awesome.
I haven't had a good solid Boulevardier in a minute.
All
so
right.
yeah,
All
let's
right.
do that.
Let's do it. All right, and we are back with a Boulevardier. Cheers,
Yeah.
everybody.
Cheers,
Cheers.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh, I haven't had one in so long.
So
Just
tell
like it
us,
should be.
tell us how you make a Boulevardier.
I honestly just do it 1-1-1. 1 ounce bourbon, 1 ounce Campari, 1 ounce sweet vermouth. With this one, I put orange bitters in since we don't have the orange essence, but I think honestly it all plays the same. I like to keep it as simple as possible. I think especially with classic cocktails, that's where people either do really well, but it's like happy accidents. Like generally just stick to what it is.
Yeah,
Because if you put your flair on a Manhattan and somebody's like, well, why doesn't this taste the same? It's like, because it's just a standard cocktail. Then make something else. Or branch off. Like Manhattans specifically, just to go onto that rant, you know, you could get a Brooklyn or you can get a Bronx. You can switch it up to any of the boroughs that'll have their specific take on it. Like my favorite is a Vieux Carré. but that's where I like to go with those things. So just stick
Yeah.
to what you know. Stick
Yeah.
to the classics.
Yeah. So when we first discovered the Boulevardier, we were actually in Lexington, Kentucky. And it was on the menu. We never had it before. And this must have
And
been
I'm
8
a
years
huge-
ago.
Yeah. And 8 years.
Yeah.
I'm a
And-
huge Negroni fan to begin with. So it was just perfect.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, this is really great. And we came back here. And at that time, nobody knew what a Boulevardier was. But now everybody, well, the craft bars, they all know what a Boulevardier is.
I went and ordered one recently, and I just always feel like an asshole when I go somewhere and I'm like, oh, everybody knows what a Boulevardier is. And they're just like, what did you say? And I'm like, wait.
A Boulevardier where?
Yeah, they're like, a what? And I'm like, a Negroni. They're like, oh. And I'm like, it's a real word, you guys. It's a real thing. It's a real word. Like,
And that's when you go, maybe I'll just have a shot.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
You
I'll
have
just
to
take this neat. Let's
gauge your bar.
Yeah. And then they're like, no, let me try. And I'm like, no, see, that scares me more. I've played that game of, you know what? Yeah, go for it.
I hate it when you order something like this and they just do it by account. They don't actually measure it.
Stressful.
Yeah.
They do the bubble count. And it's John Tafford really ruined a lot of things for people. It's like, no, that makes sense. I'm like, it doesn't. Like, different viscosities will pour at different levels. And it's easy science, man.
So, what whiskey did you use in this particular?
I used Angel's Envy.
And why did you use Angel's Envy?
I am the whiskey guardian for Angel's Envy, which basically means I'm the brand ambassador. My main market is Columbus, but I will go all over Ohio. And right now, it's September 1st, we're kicking off Toast the Trees.
Awesome.
Toast the Trees is a really great event that we do for the entire month. Every hashtag or post, picture, story, anything social media that you put Toast the Trees, we plant a white oak tree.
Nice.
And right now our goal is 40,000, and
Awesome.
we plant them in the spring. And it's our way of giving back to the community. We love bourbon, obviously. Can't do without oak. So why not keep it reciprocated
I love that.
Yeah. And
so where will they be planted? Just all around Kentucky or?
they'll be, in Kentucky.
Okay.
So we like to just, go out there, and it's our service day. And it's the cheapest way to give back, the quickest way to give back. Post a picture of an Angel's Envy bottle, drink, pour, whatever it may be. And that's it. That's all you got to do.
And what do you tag it with?
Hashtag toast the trees.
Toast the trees.
Toast the trees. So listeners, go out, buy a bottle of Angel's Envy or get a cocktail or preferably both the entire month of September. And take a step one. You have a little postcard here for us. Step one, grab an Angel's Envy bottle or cocktail. Step two, take, tag, and post a picture. Step three, we plant a tree. So do the employees plant the trees, or do you have people, arborists or somebody plant
We
the
do.
trees? Oh,
we
awesome.
go out and
That's
do
awesome.
it. Yeah.
I
so
love that.
we all just come together from all over the country and just go out and spend a couple days planting some trees.
What a great story.
Yeah, and it's it's fun. It's our service, but it's also a bonding time.
Yeah.
And instead of just
Is this something new, or has this been going on?
this
for
has
a
been
while?
going on for a while. So since this is my first year doing this in Columbus, it's gonna have a bigger focus. But yeah, and I have a few bars participating as well who will be helping us. Citizens Trust, Veritas, Spec, 1808 Tavern, which are both up in Delaware. Vasa will be participating as well. Two Truths in the Short North, Oddfellows, Mouton, District 13 up in Sunbury. I have Lizardville. I have 3 locations in Cleveland participating. And then Westerville, we're actually going to be doing a vertical tasting September 24th of the cask strength 2017, 2018, 2019, and the bourbon and the rye.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
So that's going to be one of my favorite events that we're going to be doing this month. And a couple other places. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Yeah, we just did a tasting of the bourbon rye and the 2017 cask.
Yeah.
So
It was amazing.
I did that with you guys, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun.
And then I got an email from Angels Envy today that said you were already sold out of the special Angels Envy that just dropped today.
Oh, yeah, the Misnera cask. So, crazy thing. It was our Founders Day 10 years ago. We took our spin on it as we usually do, but we did it in Misnera oak casks. So, it's going to be a Japanese barrel. And what blew my mind is, I've been in the scene for a long time, but this was one of the craziest releases. 1,200 bottles for our pre-sale, which we did last year for everyone in the 500 main group.
Mm-hmm. Which we're part of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
800 bottles sold in 3 minutes.
Wow.
So, and then today they had their lineup. I have a buddy who's also a guardian down in Louisville, and he also works the bottling line. And he said when he got there at 4 a.m. this morning, there were at least 60 people waiting.
Wow.
Camped out. And if you're not familiar with Angels Envy's distillery, is actually located downtown. And pretty close to it is an overpass. And there were people lined all the way up through it. And he said that sold out in 20 minutes. And 2 hours later, there were still people trying to get in to the distillery.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad we didn't do that.
Yeah.
we're on the mailing list, but somehow I missed the pre-sale. I don't know how. I must have just not read that
No,
email.
I saw it. I didn't realize that.
Shoot.
Well, I didn't even realize it was going to go. I had people calling me. It started at 10 a.m. I had people calling me at 9:45 and being like, how do I get in? The website's down. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm just wasn't paying attention. And I was like, what do you mean? How do you get in? It's a website. And they were like, well, it locked me out. I was like, well, it doesn't go for another 15 minutes. Log in at 10. They're like, that's not how pre-sales work, Lindsay. And I was like, okay, well, clearly I don't know how the internet works, so I don't know why you're asking me for advice.
Restart? I don't know.
Right. Refresh. They're like, I'll lose my place. I'm like, did you even have a place? Again, I don't know how the internet works. So like,
did it crash? Because so many people were.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was kind of a big hiccup. It took about 45 minutes for them to finally get the site back up because so many people from all over were trying to log in, and I think that's how it ended up.
And side note, this was not a regular bottle.
No.
This was a very special bottle at a very high price.
Yeah.
So not even your typical, $60 to $100.
Yeah.
It was $300 and
$350, $350, $370 after tax. And again, especially during COVID and all these other crazy things, we're not shipping. We don't ship bottles. You still have to go to the distillery to pick it up. So, some of these people who are ordering it from who knows where, and you only have a limited time to pick it up because they just can't hold bottles forever. I think we have until January or February 2021 to pick them up. But still, that was just a pre-sale.
Wow.
And I was like, well, you can go down, and they're like, I'm not waiting in line. And I was like, well, I don't know. I've seen people wait in line longer for less. So.
Jeez, that is amazing.
But that's whiskey for you.
That is amazing.
That's crazy. So I told you once before that when we got together that I would tell you our Angels Envy story.
Yes.
So we created a board game called the Bourbon Run. And so it's made like Churchill Downs. It's a horse track, and each furlong is a distillery. And so I really wanted Angels Envy to be on our board. And so
it's one of our favorites.
Yeah.
So
it's unique to its own for not being necessarily as far out into the Bourbon Trail country. And so I was reaching out to Angels Envy. I kept calling them and emailing them. So please be on our board. And they were like, we don't know. Like, we'll get back to you. And then we went down to New Orleans for Tales of the Cocktail. And we were sitting at Aaron Rose having a frozen Irish coffee. Is that what it is? Oh, I love it so much.
Having a po' boy.
At 10 o'clock in the
and
morning.
we were sitting at the bar. And I love sitting at the bar because I love to talk to people, that are there. And so there was this gal sitting next to us. And so we started talking to her. And great gal. And we were like, so what do you do? And she's like, oh, I'm a rep for Angel's Envy. And I was like, oh, well, I've created this board game called the Bourbon Run, and I've been trying to get...
So I showed her pictures as we're describing it.
I've been trying to get you guys to, be on our board, but they're like, we don't know you. We don't know, what's in it for us. And, they're skeptical. They don't know who I am. And she was like, well, I'm going to tell them as soon as I get back on Monday that they need to be on this board. And sure enough, Monday, they're like, we're in. You're on. We'll be on your board. So that was really cool.
And they were one of the first.
Yeah.
Them and Smooth Ambler
Yeah.
were among the first to say, yes,
Yeah.
we're in. Sign us up.
And we're a small company, and I feel like a lot of people forget that often.
Yeah.
And, this jumps back to the release. We only have 50 full-time employees. We might be under the Bacardi umbrella, but we are still an incubator brand, and we only run through Louisville Distilling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just us.
Yeah.
And, but with that being said, I went down for our central meeting, and I'd only been on the team for like 2 months. And I went down for our central team meeting, and we went to the distillery. It was my first time there. And I was like, wow, this is very fun, going up the little like employee entrance. And so when we were doing all of our like round tables, I guess, realized how small of a company we were when all of a sudden the two of the sons walk in, and they're just over there going through the tasting boards, and I was like, oh, hi, I'm Kyle. And I'm like, wait, aren't you the production manager? And he was like, oh, yeah. And then we were just like joking about random things.
That's awesome.
Wes walks in for a while, and he's like, hey, guys. Hey, Felicia, I heard you were sick last week. How you feeling? Like, just everyone's family.
That's nice.
And I was like, man, all right, I'm in. It's not as big as scary of a company as you would think it is.
Yeah.
So speaking of family, there's a second story that we have. And a second connection to Angel's Envy.
So like a couple weeks later, my sister texted me and said, hey, we're all invited to the Angel's Envy distillery opening. Because
the grand opening of the distillery.
Yeah, because my uncle has a company. Well, his sons have it now. They did all the masonry work on the building.
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
They invited everybody that worked on the building and their friends and family to come to the grand opening. I did not get to go, but that was just pretty cool. And then they gave everyone who worked on the building one of the first bottles to come off of that.
I love that.
Yeah. And so my cousin has a bottle of Angel's Envy, the first run. And so I was like, I'll buy that from you. And he's like, no.
It's like,
I'm keeping it, and I'm probably never going to open it. So
it's one of those things too. Like when I was getting to know everyone down there, and one of our girls, unfortunately, and she's fine now, but she had cancer, and she had worked for the company for like maybe a year. And so the way that they handled it as a national team, they were like National Felicia Day. And so they made an entire national marketing campaign around her, and every drink, anything, everyone planned an event.
wow.
And
That's
everything
amazing.
sold went for her cancer treatments to pay it.
That's so
crazy.
amazing.
And Angel's Envy, the family themselves actually like looked out for her, would check in, offer to take her to appointments. And I was like, you know what? All right.
What a great company.
Yeah. So when I heard that, I was like, all right, I'm very in. You guys are very choice people.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I had another weird run-in with Angel's Envy person. So the many lives of Leanne and Blair. So across the river in New Albany, Indiana, where I grew up,
Yeah.
we have this festival. It's second largest festival in the state of Indiana, second only to the Indy 500. But it's called the Harvest Homecoming. It's a bunch of like crafts and booths and food and stuff.
It's a hoot, let me tell you.
I have a buddy who
So-
actually lives there. He's the one who works the bottling line. He lives right across the river over there.
Cool. So I had a thing called the Chick Shack because that's my last name, or my maiden name. And so I
Schickle.
sold,
Hold on.
it's
Not
Schickle,
Schick.
but we shorted to Schick, so Chick Shack. But I sold beer, cheese, and pretzels. And so I sold beer, cheese, and pretzels to this guy, random guy, the next day we go to do the Angels Envy tour, and he was our tour guide.
Oh my God, that's so good.
I was like, hey, were you at the Harvest Homecoming yesterday? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, did you get beer cheese and pretzels? He was like, yeah. I'm like, I sold them to you. And he was like, oh my God, that's so weird.
He was probably like, did you bring more? I'm feeling great today. I would like one. Thank you.
That was pretty fun. But that is probably my favorite distillery because, well, there are a lot of reasons, but I love at the end how you do the tasting at the big oak tree.
Yes.
And then when you're finished and you look
think you're
over,
finished.
yeah, you think you're finished. And you look over and there are the angel wings, and then the doors open up and you have your special little bar.
Oh, man. And I think that's also a really neat thing that they do is, and I've been on a lot of distillery tours, and I think they're all very special for their own reasons. Like, Maker's Mark with the Chihuly, and everybody has their beautiful landscapes and whatnot. But I think when you're at Angels Envy and you finish at a bar, and you're like, oh, great. Oh, we're going to... Because, guys, what's the last thing you want to do when you finish a distillery? You just want to keep going.
You've only had 3 or 4 half ounces.
Right. And now you're already
Just
here.
a starter, yeah.
Right. So it's like an amuse-bouche,
The other thing that I loved about that distillery, I love their safe. Their proof safe is just beautiful. It's like the shape of an Angel's Envy bottle in
it's really cool.
copper.
They
Beautiful.
put so much thought into the little things there that it was just like walking through there every day. I was like, this would be so fun to just this be your job and just walk through and have that smell every day because I don't know, I'm a lush and I just love the fresh smell of a distillery. Like it doesn't bother me. I love the roasted corn and
and the smell of a rick house.
Oh yeah, God, I love a rick house.
Well, and so when I was researching
researching
the trivia questions for the board game, one of our trivia questions is, so when Lincoln Henderson was a boy, he stole an airplane. He and his cousin stole an airplane. They never got off the ground because they ran it into the side of a barn, but they stole an airplane.
I didn't know that actually. That's amazing. I love that. Lincoln Henderson itself, he's just a wild man. Like, in a great way.
Yeah.
And I think the idea of, working for Woodford and creating Double Oak and all these other amazing things that he did, retiring, let's just keep it going. My retirement plan is I'm going to open this for my family.
Right. But you know what? It's such a fun industry.
Yeah.
You see that, like, nobody ever leaves. Nobody ever retires because it's a great industry to be in,
And it's fun. And I think that's why I also like doing the double. I love running a bar, but I also love going out and being able to talk about things that I like and things that I care about. And
Absolutely.
it's just different levels of family throughout. Like
Yeah.
you have your bar family, you have your real family, you have your old bar family that's your best friends, which is like Rebecca and Annie from Curio. Mm-hmm. We haven't worked, neither of us have, or the three of us haven't worked together in years, but I know I can call them at any given point in time, bounce any idea off of them, and they'll do it vice versa. And it's
Still
just
family.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's really awesome.
So tell us a story. Like, we know that you've been in many different bars. You've met many different people. Tell us a good bar story.
I would say my favorite bar story is actually from my first industry job back in Dayton, Ohio. My first industry job was at Sidebar, the original one.
Oh, yeah.
So I was 20 years old, and I was the host. And, well, guys, it's Dayton, and you can get away with some things. And as everyone does, I wasn't drinking totally legally at this point. And I was close. I was close enough. It's fine. Eventually, I got there. But it was right before Father's Day. And I was out with my friends the night before. There was Father's Day brunch. I had to work. And my best friends were the bartenders. And, we were just a ragtag group. But it was an upscale restaurant at the time. And, it still is now. But the one in Dayton. Yeah. The one in Dayton was also very wonderful. And I look at the reservations and I'm hungover. And I looked down and I was like, why does it say Dave Chappelle? I was like, this is bullshit. And I looked at the bartenders and I was like, Nick, why does it say Dave Chappelle? And he was like, I don't know, Linz, people do stupid shit. And I was like, all right, cool. It was our last reservation of the day. And I was like, oh God, just get here. I want to go home. I want to like hang out with my dad, drink a beer, eat some like very homemade Ohio food, and just lounge. And I was like, oh my God, the guy was late, first and foremost. And I was like,
Really?
I was like, oh my God, he faked Dave Chappelle person to show up. So I'm like half asleep now at the host stand. I'm like, guys, can I just go? And they were like, no, wait for the last one. This guy walks in, giant black dude, sunglasses on, bald head. And like, I remember Dave Chappelle from Chappelle Show days. So I imagine him to be very like scrawny, kind of like awkward, weird, a little loud. And 3 kids run by, this tiny little Asian woman and this giant black Jack dude. And I was like, all right. And before I could even like greet them, somebody else ran up because they are smart and realized who it was. And they were like, okay, right this way. And he just walks past me. And I was like, all right, I guess that was him. Okay. And I was like, I'm going to go. So I like step outside. I'm drinking a coffee and smoking a cigarette. And it starts raining. And I'm on the phone. And all of a sudden, this guy comes out next to me. And he goes, man, this weather's shit, right? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I guess happy Father's Day. I was like, why'd you put your name under Dave Chappelle? And he goes, girl, are you serious? And I go, yeah, man, I just have to know. Like, that was annoying for me. He was like, he goes, tell me, you really don't think I'm Dave Chappelle? And I was like, you look like you ate Dave Chappelle. You were so much bigger than him. Turns out I'm insulting Dave Chappelle on Father's Day. We ended up becoming very good friends after that.
That's awesome.
We used to karaoke together every Thursday.
Oh my gosh.
We went roller discoing, laser tagging. Dave Chappelle is very good at laser tagging. Like, he will barrel roll between aisles. He will like shoot you and be like, gotcha, bitch. And like, you just don't know where he came from.
That's amazing.
I can hear his voice in my head doing that. Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Oh my
And we would watch
gosh.
the Chappelle Show together every once in a while at like one of my friends' like really shitty studio apartments. And he just wanted to hang out.
Oh, he's
Like,
amazing.
he would, at the time, he was just drinking water, getting a little high in the kitchen.
Have
like,
you been to
smoking
any
weed.
of his...
I did. I went this summer and it was so much fun. We went to one of the earlier ones when they were
Okay.
still on Eventbrite, but it was just a great time. Like, I love Yellow Springs in general. And I think the cool thing is that he's still really close with all my Dayton friends. Like, even after getting famous again and whatnot, I remember having a conversation with him at the bar one night that we went to afterwards when we were at karaoke. And he was like, hey, I was like, so what are you doing? Like, what's your plan? And at the time, Dayton is just such a weird place that everything seemed normal. To be able to be like, oh yeah, I was just hanging out with Dave Chappelle, or, you know, it's our Thursday karaoke night, Mom. Like, because I lived at home. And I'm like, Mom, I'm hanging out with Dave Chappelle. And she's like, got it. Bet you are. And I asked him, I was like, what's your next move, man? And he was like, I'm just scared I'm not funny anymore. And that was like a real conversation we had. And I was like, dude, you are funny. I was like, if anything, you were smart to back out before you weren't funny. And now people are just dying to see you again. And
So this was post Chappelle Show and pre all the great Netflix
Yeah.
series that
Yeah.
we've heard. and
this was
seen.
back in 2010, 2011.
Okay.
Ooh, God. Yeah, it was a long time ago. But so he still invites us and all of our Dayton friends to juke joint every year. Still treats everyone like family.
That's so
amazing.
cool.
Still stops through and checks in on everybody. Everybody still has his personal number.
We love Chappelle.
And like, you know, it even goes back to how much he actually loves the Dayton community. Last year when they had the tornadoes and they had
Yeah.
everything.
Yep.
And he set up that incredible event
Yep.
for free
Yeah.
just to be like, give back to this community. They deserve it.
Yep. And after the shooting, too.
Yeah.
that.
I think it was after the shooting was the last one is when he set up the Dayton Strong. And all the people he had come through, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
So he is so funny. He's the funniest person on the planet, in my opinion, but also super smart
Yes.
and just so logical. Like everything that he says, it's like,
And honest. It's
Yeah.
There's no bullshit behind it. And he stands by what he says. He knows what he's saying and he stands by it. And if you think about it, yeah, there is like a huge intelligence factor that you don't necessarily always expect from comedians, because you want them to either be on the lighter side, on the edgier side where you're like, meh, whatever.
Just funny.
Yeah, and he'll leave you with like a thought to chew on afterwards. And I think that's important.
amazing. God, you're so lucky.
It was looking back now, it's just like, that was a weird time.
Can you hook us up to meet him sometime?
Yeah, let's all just go down.
I would love that.
I would too.
Let's do that.
It was, I mean,
Road trip.
laser tagging with Dave Chappelle is one of the weirdest stories I can casually tell people.
I want to do that.
Fun.
Leading
So
a conga
fun.
line, weird. But he doesn't like pictures. He like will not let you take pictures.
I
of
don't
him.
No, I don't need pictures.
And you don't.
I just
but
need to
when
have fun.
Yeah. So when I tell people these stories, they're like, "Oh, pictures or it didn't happen." I was like, if you actually know him, there will never be a picture.
So, Dave, if you do happen to listen to this, I ride a motorcycle too and hope to run into you sometime, just randomly at some stop.
Dave Chappelle, it's Lindsey Gerhard saying, "What's up?"
Awesome. All right. Well, Lindsey, this has been so much fun. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your schedule to redo your podcast. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This was a blast.
And I want to remind our listeners to do the Toast the Trees.
Toast the trees.
Yeah.
Plant a tree, save the bourbon.
Awesome. Thanks
Absolutely,
again.
yes.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Thank you so much.
Toast in the trees.
Listeners, please rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Seabus Craft Cocktail Tour, and visit our website at columbuscraftcocktailtour.com for cocktail tour dates, women and whiskey tastings, and other events and merchandise. Thanks to our producer, Greg Hansberry, and to the biographer for our original music. Please remember to drink responsibly, tip appropriately, and be cocktail curious. Cheers!